Again, people like when I put these on YouTube, so I'm just going to. This is a scan that is totally ripped off from actually what GSP was just talking about with his bounce play winners. And again, I want to kind of show off using trade ideas, using the odds maker as a way to refine and test theories that you already have or trades that you're already doing, and see if you can make them a little bit better. Like what GSP was talking about, he said he doesn't like these bounce plays to trigger too early in the morning, um, or anything like that. And again, the beauty of this system for anyone that's interested is that I went through this morning. I don't know why last night. Oh, I saw a video on YouTube and they were talking about using higher time frame for lower time frame trading, and it was just fascinating for me. So, um, the market is popping quite dramatically here. By the way, that's the strongest tick we've had in the last 2 days, the strongest tick reading. Um, so just keep that in mind if you guys are short anything or anything like that. Um, yeah, so it's a strategy that GSP has been doing for um, I don't know, 1,000 years. Dinosaurs walked the earth, and he thought of this bounce play strategy. Um, so all I did is I plugged in the strategy that he already uses, and then through the Trade Ideas Odds Maker, I was actually able to pick out, okay, what time of day it works best, what settings are the best way to do it, so that we can actually have a scanner pick this up for us in case there's something that when GSP does his watch list each night, it he misses something, or there's just something else. So again, I'll just go through the settings for you guys, and again, anyone in the room, I can obviously share this with no problem. We've just got average daily volume around here about 5 million. It might actually be easier to do it this way. So we've got change from the close. I basically just wanted it up from the close. So, anything over zero seemed to work fine. Volume, right? 1 million to 5 million shares. Anything over 5 million is like a Bank of America or something like that. Doesn't seem to work as well. We want at least 100,000 volume traded today, and we want consecutive 4 days down in a row. And then the actual alert is just a break of the 15-minute range. Um, so it's funny, when I ran that initially, the chart looked something uh, like this, right? uh, Barely break even. It wasn't a great setup, but then I went through and I started to refine it. And knowing that they actually work better, and again, this is my time, right? So this is an hour off of Eastern time. So between 10:30 and 11 is seems to be the optimal time for this strategy, which is something that GSP again just mentioned, is that he doesn't like them triggering in the first little bit. But now we actually quantified that if they trigger, we want them almost triggering after the first hour. Anything within the first half hour it generated a lot of trades and a lot of losers. When you just the further you kind of push that back, the better it seemed to be. Um, so again, the beauty of this is being able to take an idea you have in your head and just run through and say, okay, what happened if I did this for the past 2 months, and this is all I did, and doing this with 500 shares was about $1,200 gain. Then the other thing I want to note about this, because I know there's some people that are kind of getting obsessed with this as I am, um, down here you can see that it worked very well and very smooth, and then recently it hasn't worked as much. So this is something that's very interesting when you're doing this kind of strategy development, gray box trading, is noting, okay, what was different here that it worked very well to here where it's still working but kind of just barely. And then, as we've all known for the past month or so, the volume has really been drying up in the markets. So, just a couple things. A, this is a good strategy. Hold on. Windows being a bit weird. Here it is. Um, so not only can you find these strategies and tweak these strategies, but as I mentioned earlier, I want to kind of put together I don't know, a committee or a group of people that um, find this as interesting as I do and pick up the odds maker and start doing weekly stuff because you can see that in some markets, right, this is a great strategy, and in other markets, not so much. So it would be nice to have a list of strategies and when they work best, and then we can kind of cycle through them. But again, and for something that I built, I don't know, I got up at 5 or 6 this morning and built this until the market opened, so just an hour or so. It's a pretty decent strategy. A lot of days with no triggers. I'm working on the reverse of that now, but it's not working out so well. Um, but yeah, a decent strategy nonetheless. So it's kind of cool just to be able to take setups that you're a a large fan of and being able to go through, things that have already made you money. So you've already proven that they're good setups and be able to go through and say, okay, this is a good setup here, but it's a great setup here. So if I'm trying to refine my trading even further, it's good. So again, you can use this program not just for uh, becoming an unsuccessful trader to a successful trader, but if you're just trying to refine some things, maybe pull out a couple losers, it's good for that as well. So um, that's all I had to rant about. Um, so again, any questions, or if you guys want to go over what I talked about today, and please go over the rules of this setup. Okay. So we're simply looking for a stock that's down 4 days in a row. And we're looking for, again, volume requirements and volume ratio requirements, which means we want it doing above ordinary volume. We're simply looking to take an opening range break, um, right? Again, the timed exits and stuff are things that we can tweak, but a 15-cent stop, 15 to 20 cents seems to be ideal. Um, and yes, MOS was here. Let me bring this into here. MOS. Um, yeah, so MOS showed up on the scan here at this is my time here, so almost 11 your guys' time. You can see on the daily, right, here's our 4 consecutive down days in a row. So all we looked for today is it showed us this at, let's go into fives, right here. This is flashing weird, get that out of the way. Um, yeah, so it showed right here, so I just called it at 03 and I put in, I believe, a 10 or 15-cent stop. I basically just wanted it below this candle, which again is the beauty of taking these techniques that we know that work and then using our own trading skills to refine them. And then I took half off here and I took a little bit more off here, and then I've just got to stop kind of under this base now on the rest. But yeah, so this is one good trade that's already resulted from this scan. So you can put that. I think you can put a filter on for industry groups if you only like certain types of industry groups. If you only like certain, I don't know, if you're a tech trader or whatever, you can do that. You can get really specific, but um, anybody who's taken statistics can kind of vouch for. Like you notice that a lot of these that I'm running, I get happy when they have between 60 and 70% win rates. And some people say, well, um, why don't you tweak them to get them like really high percent win rates? But to do that, I'm removing more and more trades. So um, it's going to sound weird, but you're better off having a few trades a day with a 60, 70% win rate than like maybe one trade a day with a 90% win rate. And that might not make a lot of sense in kind of just when you think about it, but um, if you're looking for a consistent equity curve and a consistent daily P&L, you're better off having multiple trades with a high consistency than just maybe one trade um, with a really high win rate, because it the your P&L might not be as high, but kind of the ebbs and flows throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month will be lower. Um, and again, if there's any stats majors that want to explain that a little better, but it's kind of like if we were to play a game where we were to flip a coin and it hits heads, I pay you $2. It hits tails, you pay me $1. Well, you're going to want to play that game as much as possible, right? Because it's going to A, make you the most money, and B, kind of smooth out an equity curve. Where if I were to flip it once a week and just multiply the everything by 10, even though statistically over the long run it would be more, it would be much more volatile intraday. You can, again, if you have trade ideas, you can run all of those. You can run average spread. You can add it to this if that's something that interests you, and you can just click average spread, and then you can actually filter things by the spread. Um, so if you want really, if you hate trading things with high spread, you would just bring this in here, and you would see where the thread spread kind of is a detriment to you, and then go from there. But like MOS has a 1 maybe 2 cent spread, and that's the only thing that triggered off today. So so far so good. Yeah, the question is you might get better results with a hot sector industry group, 100%. And again, that's where I'm not trying to turn into just a black box where I'm going to say, here, take these and plug them into a system and just do exactly what they say here. I'm taking these and I'm saying, okay, this is a way to refine trading systems that we already have, and then you're just going to use your trader brain and know-how to know that this looks better than this, or the spreads of this are too much, or something like that. So I'm getting a question about the commission rate. This will charge commission on both sides, and this will charge slippage on both sides. So, again, if you have the odds maker and if you're paying $5 a trade in commissions, you can just put in $5 a trade, and you can see that the gross amount obviously stays the same, and then the net amount after slippage changes. So, but I usually just pay. I think my commission rates are pretty cheap, so no worries. And yeah, so that's the kind of conversation I want to have. I'm not giving you these scans and saying, okay, just take every trade that triggers and just trade it exactly the way that the model goes. But I'm saying that these scans are a great way to, if you have a theory, to test it and then to refine it, right? You may have a great theory, but it only works under these specific circumstances. Like when I did this as 2 to 3 is where I started consecutive down days, didn't work as well as 4. Um, and this is again at least 4. So I was able to instantly cut off half of the trades and a lot of the losers just by this little, just refining them a little bit. So that's kind of the purpose behind these. So, all right, I'm going to cut this off so that it's not super long for YouTube. And then again, I'll upload this for people that miss it, or people that just want to watch it again, or anything like that.